Good morning, everybody. Myself, Alana Begum, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, Dr. Naveen Bodle College. Today, we are going to discuss about the price elasticity of demand. What is price elasticity of demand? Price elasticity of demand is a measure of responsiveness of the demand for a good to change in the price. Alfred Marshall, who first introduced the concept of elasticity of demand. According to him, price elasticity of demand as the ratio of percentage change in demand with a relative change in price. We can derive a mathematical representative. We can derive a mathematical formula for price elasticity of demand as the percentage change in quantity demand of a good with percentage change in price. There are 5 types of price elasticity of demand. These are perfectly elastic demand, perfectly inelastic demand, relatively elastic demand, relatively inelastic demand, unitary elastic demand. These are explained with diagrammatically one by one in the next slide. The first diagram shows the perfectly elastic demand. When the demand for a commodity reduces to zero with an infinitely small increase in the price and increases to infinite with a very small reduction in price, then the demand is said to be perfectly elastic. In this case, the value of price elasticity is equal to infinity, and the demand curve of a firm is perfectly elastic and horizontal to the x-axis. Second diagram shows perfectly inelastic demand curve. That is, when demand is perfectly inelastic, when it does not change irrespective of the change in prices, then the value of price elasticity of demand is equal to 0 and the shape of the demand curve is vertical. Diagram 3 shows relatively elastic demand curve. Demand is said to be relatively elastic when the percentage change in the demand is more than percentage change in price. This means that the value of price elasticity of demand is greater than 1. Generally, for luxurious goods, price elasticity of demand is greater than 1. The demand curve is flatter, which indicates that the rate of percentage change in quantity demand is greater than the rate of change in price. In fourth diagram, it is shown relatively inelastic demand curve. Relatively inelastic demand curve means the demand is said to be relatively inelastic when the percentage change in demand is less than the percentage change in price. This means the quantity demanded responses to less extent to the percentage change in price. In case of necessary goods, the price elasticity of demand is less than 1. The shape of the demand curve is steep, and it implies that the rate of change in quantity demand is less than the rate of change in price. The last diagram shows a unitary elastic demand curve. When the percentage change in demand is equal to the percentage change in price of the commodity, the demand is said to be unitary elasticity. Therefore, the shape of the unitary elasticity demand curve is always a rectangular hyperbola, indicating that price elasticity of demand is equal to 1. This is a special case of price elasticity of demand, that the price elasticity of demand is equal to 1 at every point on this rectangular hyperbola type of demand curve. Thank you.